Hey Tada, we are back with another video. The page it is called South African Late News, and the handle for this page it is at KZN underscore ZA. Yeah, this case often shows that the police do not follow their own procedures. They do not follow their own procedures. Let's start about Chris Mangena. Chris Mangena is the ballistic expert that tested the gun that allegedly shot Senzo Meyo. It is evidence before court that after testing the firearm linked to accused number 3, Mr. Mncube, Mangena took the gun and its ammunitions from Cleveland Police Station exhibit store and he placed the gun in his own safe. Wathatha isibhamu wasibeka kwisafe yakhe. Akasibuyiselanga lapho sathe khona eCleveland, and that is against the law. When you are transporting exhibit, there are procedures that you need to follow. Firstly, when you take a gun from the exhibit store, you sign in, I, Mangena, taking the gun, and so and so. And then when you're done, you bring it back, then you sign in again. So that is done so that there can be a chain of movement. A gun has to be placed in a specific area so that it is not touched by anyone. But Mangena took the gun and he placed it in his own safe. That is highly irregular. So now we don't know what Mangena did with the gun when it was in his own safe. Because it is safe. I'm not saying that he did something wrong, but something may have happened because the gun was not in its original place. One thing that could have happened is that a barrel of a gun could have been changed because it was in his own space now. Secondly, a gun may have been changed. We could be having a totally different gun, not the same gun that was allegedly owned by Gadla Mncube. So you can see that the police, they do whatever they want. They do not follow their own protocols. So now, for me, it's difficult to find these guys guilty of a crime because the police don't follow their own procedures. We can go back to the crime scene where Senzo was shot. We were told that on the night that Senzo was shot, the police did not find any bullets, bullet jackets, or projectile. And then the following morning, they found the bullet jacket. How convenient. How convenient. Clearly, that bullet jacket was planted there in the crime scene so that it can implicate someone else other than the persons that were in the house. So you can see that the police can do whatever they want to do. Okay, let's move on. We're told that they tested that bullet under the microscope, and then Mangena says it matched the gun that was at Cleveland Police Station. However, we cannot be certain about that because he had taken the gun away and kept it in his own safe. What if the barrel of the gun was changed? And the worst thing is that the gun that he tested, it was found on an open bag. Why it was in the open bag? It was just laying there. Laying there. In terms of the law, the gun must be sealed and be kept at a safe place. But this gun that was allegedly used to shoot Senzo was found wandering there. So the credibility of the gun evidence is now in tatters because we cannot account for the chain of evidence, how it moved from A to B, because it was found on an open bag. So one thing about Mangena that I'm happy about, he was honest to say the gun was on an open bag. But he should have refused to take it because it was already a compromised exhibit. If it's on an open bag, we don't know where did it go, what did it do, where it went. So we are not even sure if the barrel of the gun was not changed. So what I'm saying is that Judge Rata cannot accept the tests that were done for the specific gun because the gun was compromised. So we cannot link it to Kadla Mngcuba because we don't know if the barrel of the gun was not changed. We were told that the gun was used by Mngcuba in some other crimes and so on. But now, later on, we will find out that the gun was destined to be destroyed. So Mangena saying that is why it was found there on an open bag, because nobody cared about it. But the fact of the matter is that it was not kept safe. So it cannot be used as evidence in the current case simply because it was found on an open bag. Secondly, Mangena took it and kept it in his own safe. We don't know what Mangena did with the gun when there was no one watching him. So the gun evidence, I'm afraid, it is rubbish. Then the fact that they found the bullet jacket on the following day in the crime scene, it shows that it was planted there. You can't tell me that over 10 police officials came to the crime scene and looked around the entire house and found no bullet on Sunday. Mosia said he came there, he checked by himself, and then a high-level task team that took over after he left, they also searched there. Brigadier Ndlovu, the late, also came there, he searched there. They found no bullet, nothing, nix. Then you tell me tomorrow they find something else. No, man. That was when the crime scene was tampered with. That was after the meeting that was held by the politicians as well as the police. That is when we start to find things in the house. We were told that Mapiro cleaned the crime scene. When Mapiro was cleaning the crime scene, why didn't she find the bullets there in the house? She did not find the bullets because it was not there on Sunday. The bullets that was there on Monday was not there on Sunday, meaning that it was planted just to link it to someone else other than the people that were in the house. So if you don't see that this case is compromised, I don't know which case you are watching, but clearly bullet there was planted. And now they come to Judge Rata and want to convict these guys with these exhibits that were compromised. Come on, man. This case is clearly cooked. You cannot say officials came on Sunday and found no bullets. Over 10 police officials. Then the following day they find it. Come on, man. This is a joke. And then the fact that Mapiro cleaned the crime scene, she's not before court to answer for her actions. It shows that the state is hiding something. They know that Mapiro might throw someone under the bus and say, someone told me to clean the crime scene because they were hiding evidence. That is the only reason that someone will clean the crime scene. It's when they are trying to hide something or deceive the police. So Mapiro, I'm hoping that she's going to live long and be able to come before court once the defense start its case. If they do fail with Section 174 discharge, then they'll have to bring their own witnesses. Therefore, Mapiro should be one of those who are subpoenaed to come and testify by force. Then she must be asked, who told you to clean the crime scene? Mapiro, as an elderly woman, I'm sure she would crack under pressure. Once umnisi esembuza imibuzo lapha engadlali engasiniki, Mapiro, she's going to break down and tell us the truth. Then we'll know who unalived Senzo Meyiwa. Because Mapiro engeke suka clean crime scene because firstly akusikona kakhe lapha umzini womuntu, and the timing wacleana before kufika amaphoyisa. Umthetho nomathebula. That was when everyone was in the hospital. So in that in between waklina uMaphiri. Kusho khona umtshela ukuthi thina saya esibhedlela cleaner la sifuna masibuye la ubufakazi bungasekho. And the great Maphiri did just that, clean. Omthetho bathi befika nomathebula bathi bebhayiza laphana i-crime scene angasekho gazi eliningi ngoba elisukile eliningi. And siyazi on that day ukuthi they were drinking alcohol and they found less than 10 cans of Heineken and Guarana, meaning that uMaphiri wathatha wonke la mabhodlela lawa owalahla. So uyabona ukuthi lento le i-case ayisaphelele because some part of evidence was destroyed. On those bottles or cans of alcohol, there could have been evidence. Lapho sibona okay, ama-fingerprints of intruder maybe or whoever. But the fact of the matter is that the bottles of alcohol or cans were not there. Let me say not there. There were only few left, but we know that babethenge more than 24. So where did the rest go and why was it thrown away? Istate sihlala ngathi la siyabona lento yenzeka la. Maphiri, he helped to destroy the evidence that was in that house. So now the current accused before courts can no longer now ask about those cans because they are no longer there. But asikho lapho. And thereafter now we go to when they were in the hospital. We were told that iphone enye kaKelly Khumalo, she was robbed of a phone. They call it a runaway phone. But in Section 205 it shows that that phone went to hospital with one of the people that were in the house. And I'm going to be specific. No Makakheli. But in Section 205 iyasho ukuthi isesibhedlela. But uMakakheli wathi yena bebuye esibhedlela wayithola leyo phone kuphi ngale kwekhabethe or itafula. Meaning that she lied under oath when she made that statement. If phone went to hospital, meaning ukuthi uyayibona sonke lesikhathi. So uyabona abantu baKhumalo la kuningi abekufihla la. Why would they hide that phone? It doesn't make sense. And then we go to the fact that uKelly Khumalo, we were told that she was robbed of a phone. So there's a charge of robbery against the 5 accused before court. But at the same time, we were told that Kelly Khumalo is the intruder. So how can you be the intruder and also be robbed? Yeah, but doesn't. So Kelly, she's an accused because we mastermind, but she's a victim at the same time because she was robbed. So the state must choose which is which. Is Kelly a victim or a mastermind? But okwamanje the accused are charged with robbery as well on top of murder and so on. So you cannot have it both ways, Baloyi. You can't say Kelly is a victim and the mastermind. It's either she was robbed or she's the mastermind of this case. Clearly. And the worst part is that abambizi even to court to testify with sizwe ngayo Kelly Khumalo ukuthi what happened on the day. Unalogo, we get all these useless witnesses that were not in the house. Or Thabang Makeleni's statement, umuntu othi wabona intruder erana outside the house, but it was dark. So how was it possible for him to see ukuthi abantu baphuma kuphi? The state is bullshitting us here. You can see. It is simple. Baloyi bokufana abizwe Kelly Khumalo ukuze acacise ngale phone le ukuthi yantshontsho because now she was robbed of a phone kodwa kuthiwa uyena wathumela abantu ukuthi bazobulala bazorobha. So how can she send people to rob her. You see, that doesn't make sense. You cannot be a victim and the mastermind at the same time. So Ubalo did not think through this cooking before charging these guys. So into engamsiza ukuthi uKelly eze lapha azokuchazisa okay, Kelly bakurobha ifoni, chaza. Oh Kelly, are you the mastermind? Kalula nje. Kanjalo. And then there were SMS that were exchanged between Uzandi and Kelly Khumalo. In some of those SMSs, Kelly Khumalo was saying, I regret the day I made sense. So meaning that the state was going to use that evidence to show what Kelly is the mastermind. But you cannot convict someone on that evidence alone because it's not sufficient. They also tried to use that fake communication between Kelly Khumalo and accused number 5. But we all know that fake communication was fabricated there when Colonel Steyn received the Section 205 in a form of PDF. Then he converted it to Excel. That is when that fake communication was inserted there. So we know that Kelly Khumalo did not phone accused number 5 or the other way around. It never happened. Because Steyn, when he was in court, was asked, how was the call made? Was it via WhatsApp video? Was it via BlackBerry Messenger? Or was it Facebook Messenger? Babengazi. So we are going to care about the mastermind, but there's no evidence against him. Clearly, Usenzo was shot ngephutha by someone in that house. There were no intruders. Gadla babengekho lapha. Section 205 kaGadla yasho ukuthi at the same time when Senzo was shot, Gadla Mncube's phone pinged at the Johannesburg CBD, meaning that he was not at Vosloorus. He cannot be in two places at once because he is not the Holy Spirit. So uyabona ukuthi this gun issue bazama usifaka in the hands of Gadla, but uGadla was not at the crime scene. So if Gadla was not at the crime scene, then the 4 other accused as well means they were not involved because we were told that they were charged with common purpose, meaning that they all planned this murder. So if one component is missing, then the state case collapses. It's simple and straightforward. But the fact that uMangeni's spam was taller on an open bag, it shows that that gun was tampered with. I'm sure the barrel of a gun was changed. Once they've done that, they can implicate Gadla in this crime. But the gun was found in an open bag. Then Mangena broke the law again when he took the gun and put it in his own safe. The gun was supposed to be returned to Cleveland store once it was tested, but Mangena did not do that. Umnesi wambuza wathi, is that the procedure to take the gun and keep it in your safe? Mangena said no, but blah 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 blah. We are not interested in that blah 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 blah. Once you say but, Mangena broke the law when he kept the gun in his own safe. He should have taken the gun back to Cleveland where he found it. So the gun exhibit evidence, it's total fabrication. The bullet jacket that was found on the crime scene on the following day, that bullet jacket was planted at the crime scene to implicate umuntu wangaphandle ongekho labantu bakaKhumalo noLongo and so on. We know that for a fact. Then the last part about the gun, people that were in the house said the gun had a will, meaning it's a revolver. So it's not that 9mm that is before court. Because I'm an eyewitness, the gun had a will, meaning it's a revolver. So see, this whole gun evidence from bullet jacket to Chris Mangena esathatha isibhamu eCleveland esifaka kwisafe yakhe, and then the actual witnesses abona isibhamu ukuthi into engahlangani into le. We have a wrong gun in court. We have a compromised gun in court because it was found on an open break. So the gun evidence, it is totally tainted and cannot be relied upon in this court. Therefore, the judge has to find these guys not guilty. Thank you for watching.